The Detroit Lions have decided to add a new name to their practice squad, and it's not just any player. Lions fans, please leave a like to strengthen the channel, because this is news that promises to generate a lot of discussion within the blue and silver community. It's Malik Cunningham, an extremely versatile athlete who has played both wide receiver and quarterback. The news was confirmed by ESPN insider Adam Schefter and immediately raised questions about the real reasoning behind this move. After all, a few weeks ago, the Lions tried out Cunningham but didn't sign him at that time. Now, however, the player has officially appeared on the practice squad and brings new possibilities to Dan Campbell's team. Interestingly, although most NFL fans know Cunningham as a receiver, his true origins lie under center. He played quarterback throughout his college career at Louisville and was also signed to that position by the Patriots in 2023 as an undrafted free agent. At the time, some analysts and even more daring fans even raised the hypothesis that he could compete for the starting job, especially when Mac Jones was struggling to lead New England's offense. Expectations were high, but the reality was quite different. During the preseason, Cunningham appeared in 2 games at quarterback but had virtually no opportunities to throw the ball. The team ultimately decided to convert him to wide receiver at the end of the summer in an attempt to capitalize on his speed and athleticism. However, even as a receiver, he didn't find much room either with the Patriots or the Ravens, where he recently played. His numbers were modest, with few receiving targets and, consequently, little production on the field. This makes his arrival in Detroit viewed with caution, but also with curiosity. The most intriguing aspect of this signing is the context in which it occurs. The Lions face a direct matchup against the Baltimore Ravens next Monday night, and the presence of Cunningham, who was recently on the Baltimore Ravens roster, may not be a coincidence. Many believe that Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell's idea is, at least in part, to exploit the player's insights into the opponent's offensive and defensive systems. This, of course, is part of the NFL's strategic game and could give Detroit a slight advantage in preparing for this high-profile matchup. However, reducing Malik Cunningham's arrival to just this issue would be oversimplifying the situation. The player is a natural athlete, possessing impressive mobility, above-average speed, and improvisational ability that has consistently caught the attention of coaches and scouts since his college days. He may not have been able to establish himself so far, but the versatility he offers is exactly the kind of quality the Lions staff likes to exploit. It wouldn't be surprising if, in addition to serving as a momentary strategic piece, Cunningham were tested in multiple roles on the practice squad. The question now remains, do the Detroit Lions truly see Cunningham as a long-term project, or is it all just a spur-of-the-moment move to gain an advantage against the Ravens? Dan Campbell has shown a keen eye for players who can add different dimensions to the team, and Cunningham fits that profile. If it's just for a week, it might seem like a one-off move, but if the Lions decide to invest, it could create an unexpected piece for the future of the offense. So, fans, what do you think of this decision? Can Malik Cunningham really find a place on Detroit's roster, or was it just a strategic signing for this specific game? Comment below with your opinion, join the debate with our community, and, of course, don't forget to leave a like to support the channel and continue receiving all the updates about our Detroit Lions. Let's move on to the next update. This news could directly impact the fortunes of our Detroit Lions even before Week 3 of the season. The team is coming off a simply devastating 52-21 victory over the Chicago Bears, which showcased the strength of Dan Campbell's group. Morale is high, the fans are confident, but the coaching staff knows that not everything is perfect, especially when we look at an area that could become a problem later on, the defensive line. This was a point of concern last year, when the Lions suffered heavily from injuries and ended up exposed in decisive games. The defense as a whole was solid, but the lack of depth became evident at critical moments in the campaign. Today, the situation is similar. Starters Tyreek Williams and DJ Reader have been performing well, but when we look at the rotation behind them, doubts arise. In a long and grueling season like the NFL, having just 2 reliable pieces is not enough. And it's precisely in this context that a trade rumor has begun to gain traction behind the scenes around the league, linking the Detroit Lions to the Dallas Cowboys. The rumored name is a significant one that could pique fans' curiosity. It's Mazi Smith, a defensive tackle drafted by the Cowboys in the first round of the draft, but who has so far failed to deliver on expectations in Dallas. According to Bleacher Report's Christopher Knox, Detroit would be one of the most attractive destinations for Smith. The player has always been considered a raw talent, someone who would need time to fully develop, but who had the physical potential to become a great player at the position. At 6 feet 3 inches and 345 pounds, Smith possesses the ideal characteristics to be a true monster on the defensive line. However, in Dallas, the fit hasn't been there, and perhaps a change of scenery is just what he needs to unleash his full potential. Mazi Smith's track record in the NFL thus far isn't negligible, but it also doesn't come close to meeting the expectations raised in the draft. In 2 seasons with the Cowboys, he appeared in 34 games, recording 54 tackles and 2 sacks. These numbers aren't immediately eye-catching, but they demonstrate consistency and a solid foundation for development. The big thing is that, with his physical profile and the strength to play against the run game, Smith can still become a defensive pillar, as long as he's in the right environment, with coaches capable of bringing out the best in him. And that's precisely what makes the idea of him in Detroit so appealing. Dan Campbell has a reputation for empowering players, for drawing energy, drive, and discipline from athletes who arrive at other teams with little faith. Bringing Smith under Campbell's umbrella could be the trigger he needed to finally reach the level many experts have been hoping for since his arrival in the league. Furthermore, financial considerations and trade value also come into play. We're not talking about a proven player who would cost a fortune in draft picks or a contract. Smith is still young, has room to grow, and could be acquired for a price considered fair given Detroit's current situation. If it works out, the Lions would gain an impactful reinforcement for their defensive rotation and perhaps even a solid starter in the medium term. If not, the loss wouldn't be as significant, as there wouldn't be a large investment involved. It's the kind of smart gamble teams with Super Bowl ambitions often make: risk little and, who knows, reap big. So, fans, what do you think of this move? Is it worth pursuing Mazi Smith to strengthen the core of our defense, or would it be an unnecessary risk for a team already dreaming big this season? I'd love to hear your opinion. Leave your comments, because fan debate is always a highlight of our space. I'll respond to every comment, so join in. And if you're new here, take this moment to subscribe to the channel and stay with us. Every time breaking news about rumors, signings, etc. comes out, we bring it here to share with our subscribers. Join us and see you next time.